I honestly, look, I'm on my period. My hair is a mess. I look a mess. That shows you the level of the fucks I give about what I have to, like, I, at this point, I just want to just say what's on my chest. And honestly, I just want to describe how I've been feeling lately, because I feel like there's people out there who feel the same way. And I want to make this not only for people to know that they're not alone in this feeling that they have, but also because I need to see that I'm not alone. Like, it's not just me. Like, I'm not losing my mind. Like, I'm not going crazy. Because I feel like I'm going crazy because it seems like no one else around me is going through this. And by this, I mean this feeling of stagnancy, like this feeling where you don't feel present in what you're doing. Like, you're just functioning and you're not living. Like, every day when I wake up, it is a struggle. Part of it is due to the fact that I do have depression and anxiety, so that alone makes it hard for me to get out of bed. But the fact that I don't feel like I'm in the right place in life makes it hard for me to want to get up and do anything, because that just triggers my depression and anxiety. And I feel like everything in life is going well, but something is missing. And I don't know what that something is. Like, I started going to the gym again, thinking that was what it was. Like, oh, I'm not having enough activity. Wrong. I started filming more YouTube videos, thinking that was the reason why I was feeling this void. Wrong. I started learning French again. Wrong. Like, I just kept trying to find activities and things to see what was missing in my life, and I still can't figure out what it is. And it bothers me. It eats at me constantly that there's this thing that I'm missing, whether it's an activity or a person or a feeling or whatever. I'm missing it, and that's what's making me feel like shit. That's what's making me feel like, oh, I don't know what to do in life right now, because there's so much I want to do, but I feel like I can't do it. My depression is beating my ass. My anxiety is telling me I can't do it, and here's why. And the list goes on and on and on and on and on. Like, if you saw my life updates video that I did in February, you would know that I started a nonprofit. I literally have everything ready for it. I have the website, the logo, the mission, the values, the outcomes, or not outcomes, the objectives I want to reach. I literally have everything ready to set it off, like ready, set, go. But I haven't touched anything. Like, even though everything is ready to go, I haven't touched it. Why? Because I feel like something is missing. I feel like I am missing something when it comes to my nonprofit, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if the thing that's missing is I just need to take the leap of faith and go for it by, quitting my jobs that I have and just focusing on my nonprofit. I don't know if that means going back to school to get my master's so that I feel solidified in going forward with my nonprofit. I don't know what it is. And it's not even just a nonprofit in which I'm experiencing a decline in work and performance. It's literally every aspect of life. As I mentioned earlier, I started going to the gym. I haven't been to the gym in like 3 weeks. I'm paying for a gym membership, yet I haven't been to the gym in 3 weeks. And yes, I can use my mental health as an excuse, but deep down, I know that it's not my mental health. Because mentally, I feel okay. I feel fine. I'm not depressed. Like, I don't feel as anxious. But then when I start feeling stagnant, that's when all these things pop up. That's when I start to feel depressed. That's when I start to feel anxious. But 9 times out of 10, I can get out of that anxious or depressed feeling, but I can't get out of that stagnancy. And that truly is what makes me hurt. Like, I don't feel like myself. Granted, I haven't felt like myself since 4th grade. Granted, 4th grade me is completely different than the me I am now because that was a child. I'm a young adult. Is And this is why I have difficulty filming this type of video, because my mind just bounces. Like, my mind is all over the place when I try to speak how I feel. It's crazy. I go to therapy and can ramble on and on and on and don't see it as a problem. But when it comes to videos, I feel like it's a problem because it's like, I think no one wants to hear what I have to say. But that's not true, because I have subscribers. Even though I only have 50 subscribers, there are 50 people out there that want to see me, that want to hear what I have to say. But I feel like that's not good enough. I feel like I'm not grateful for life, which is crazy, because I am grateful. Like, I'm grateful to be alive given all the things that I've been through. I'm grateful to be alive because there is a life that isn't alive right now. I'm grateful to be alive because I get to experience life in this moment. However, I don't feel grateful for life because I feel like I'm not doing anything. I feel like I'm not doing any good, or I'm not doing what I should be doing. And the hardest part about that is I'm an impatient motherfucker. People tell me things take time, but I have so much difficulty waiting. I cannot wait. I have to get things done right away. If there's something I need to get done, I'd rather do it right away. Because if I don't, I just wait and then I push back. Back to our regularly scheduled program. Sorry, my cousin came. He surprised me. He goes to school in Atlanta. He goes to HBCU, and he came to surprise me because I haven't seen him in like a year. So that was fun. But back to my point of feeling stagnant, feeling like something is missing. And, we're about to get deep. Because in reality, a good reason why I feel stagnant is because I feel guilty. And you're probably thinking, what do you feel guilty about? I feel guilty leaving because all my family is in Minnesota. Well, my close family, except for my older sister, is in Minnesota. My close friends are in Minnesota. Well, not really. I have like 3 close friends in Minnesota. That's about it. So I guess I feel guilty leaving them because I've already left them once. And if you're new to my channel, you're probably like, girl, left them once. If you don't know, I went to the University of Wisconsin-Madison for undergrad. So I was away from family and friends for about 3 some years. And the reason why I say 3 some years is because I went to school in the middle of a pandemic and I went home for spring break and didn't go back to Madison until August. So, well, that's not true. I went back to Madison in May so I could get more clothes because I only had 3 weeks worth of clothes. That's besides the point. But the reason why I feel guilty is because when it came to me applying for colleges in high school, I applied to North Dakota State, I applied to Winona, I applied to the University of Iowa, I applied to the U of M, and I applied to UW-Madison. And I knew that everybody wanted me to go to the U of M. Like, the University of Minnesota was obviously going to be #1 choice, like, periodpoint.com. That's where she's going. And then when we rank the other schools, Winona would have been second, NDSU would have been third, Iowa would have been fourth, and Wisconsin would have been fifth. And you're probably thinking, why would Iowa be fourth and Wisconsin be fifth? I didn't know. I have no family in Wisconsin, and Wisconsin is further away from me than Iowa. So when I decided to go to UW-Madison instead of the U of M, it caused a lot of tension between me and my parents. I felt like I was neglecting my friends. I felt like I was neglecting my brother. I felt like I was neglecting my sister. Because at the time, my brother was still in middle school. Like, he was pretty young. He was 12, 11. No, he was 11 when I left for college. So ever since then, I always felt guilty about leaving, which is why I made it a point to always go home for breaks, except for senior year. When I graduated, I stayed in Madison for the summer, and I can't even lie to you, it was probably the most fun I ever had in my life. Like, just being free and not worrying about family expectations and this, that, and the third. I was like, oh my God, this is so much fun. So I think that is the main reason why I feel stagnant, because I feel guilty that I'm staying here in Minnesota even though I don't want to, because deep down inside, I know I'm not supposed to be in Minnesota. Where I'm supposed to be, I have no idea, because my spirit guides have not told me yet. But where I'm supposed to be, I know it's not Minnesota. And I feel stagnant because I don't know what to do. And that feeling of I don't know what to do sucks, because there are things that I could do. But that fear of failure is eating at me. It's eating me alive, and that contributes to me feeling stagnant. And it's crazy because it's taking me this long to figure out exactly what I've been feeling. Like, this is the first time I've had this epiphany. The first time that I've had this epiphany that the reason that I feel stagnant is because I feel guilty, because I want to leave. I want to be my own person and be on my own, but I am scared because of my financial situation, because of my mental situation, because of my educational situation. Like, I am petrified to fuck up. Like, the last thing I want to do is mess up and have to come back home. I don't want to be a failure. I've never been seen as a failure, except for when I went to college, because I actually was on the verge of failing a class. And that was the first and only time I was ever on the verge of failing a class. Ever. And I think that first sign of failure triggered me into, I can't fail anymore. Like, I need to do better. Like, I have to get a job right away. I have to get my life together. And now that my life is not together, I feel like shit. I don't feel depressed. I just feel like shit. Like, I know the difference between me being depressed and me feeling like shit. Because me feeling like shit, even though I don't want to do stuff, I still get it done. When I'm depressed, if I don't feel like doing stuff, I won't do it. Wholeheartedly. And part of this epiphany realization that I just had is in part of my cousin. So DDA, if you're seeing this, thank you so much for helping me have a real life on-screen epiphany. I'm afraid to take the leap forward and just go out there on my own. Like, leave home for good. Like, be on my own for good. Like, for real. Because what's crazy is I liked being on my own. When I was in Madison, even though I did have roommates, having my own space and not having to deal with my family and deal with my parents and deal with the chaos of Minnesota life was nice, because I got to worry about me for once. Even though my mental health wasn't good the first 2 years I was in undergrad, my third and fourth years, even though I was in the middle of a pandemic, when senior year came around, I was on the lookup. I was like, yes, we're going to get out of COVID. You know, I'm about to graduate. Like, life is actually going to begin from this moment. But then I came back to Minnesota and I feel like I just went backwards. But all in all, I know deep down inside I'm not the only person that's feeling like this. And so, if you're watching this, if you made it this far into the video and you're like, damn, she said everything that I've been thinking, now you know you're not alone. Now you know you're not alone. And maybe this epiphany is what I needed to work on myself. Because if I didn't have this realization on camera, let alone have it at all, who knows? I probably would have never made the connection that I need to get over my fear of failure. Even though I have anxiety, and even though my anxiety is always going to think of the worst possible outcome, she always thinks of multiple outcomes. That's the crazy thing. My anxiety is ass backwards. I'd be anxious, not of what could possibly go wrong, but of all the scenarios that could happen, and that if the worst one does happen, what the fuck? That's another thing. I go on tangents a lot, which makes me feel like I have some kind of like organizational developmental disorder, because I can't organize my thoughts for shit. I can write them down. Like, I can write down to-do lists, like, no problem. I can plan things out. But when it comes to staying on topic for a video, can't do it unless I write it out, which is why my tips videos are, like, so flow free. Like, they free flowly. They flow freely. Jesus Christ, I can't even fucking speak. This is why I don't be posting on YouTube, because I can't fucking speak. That's my anxiety, you see? Like, it's playing out in front of... Oh my God. And watch me not edit any of this out, because I will be too lazy to do it. Hello, stagnant feeling. I wonder if anyone who's watching this is probably like, this girl is truly... She's... Yeah. That's really how it goes on in my mind. It just spurts and pieces of randomness until I finally piece it together. But yeah, no, I think I don't want to edit this video. Like, I want it to be as authentic as possible. I probably will edit it to an extent to, like, exaggerate the faces that I make, like, in that little spur moment. Actually, I might edit this part out, because now I'm just talking. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. I know I need to leave Minnesota. I know I have to. Because it doesn't feel right. It doesn't. Like, am I going to miss the Mall of America? Yes. Am I going to miss Valley Fair? Yes. Am I going to miss my family and my friends and the memories I've made here and the places I've been to? Yes, 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 yes. But is it time for me to pack my bags and leave? Hell yeah, it is. I mean, my older sister did it when she was 19, and she's thriving. She's thriving. Like, she's on her own. She's doing her damn thing. Does she miss home? Hell yeah, she does. But I don't know if she feels guilty about it. I don't know how she feels about leaving her family. And maybe because my anxiety is afraid that my family will look at me differently, that's another reason why I'm, like, afraid to move. Or afraid to leave Minnesota, is that I feel like my family's gonna look at me differently. Like, I've always had this belief that I would never leave my family. Like, no matter what, I would always be close to my family. But I feel like it's time for me to get away from them. But I'm scared to. So I'm choosing to stay home to avoid a scenario that could possibly not even happen. I'm basically dictating my life on a situation that could or could not happen. This stagnancy sucks. I feel like I'm being ambivalent. I feel like I'm afraid to take that risk. But there are days where I tell myself, like, what's the worst that could happen? And the likelihood of that worsening happening, it's low. Sorry, there's like a this thing has cobwebs on it. If you're curious to know, it says, God showed how much he loved us by sending his only son into the world so that we might have eternal life through him. This is real love. if we love each other, God lives in us, and his love has been brought to full expression through us. 1 John 4:9, verses 9, 10, and 12. This has been in my room for the longest time. It was in this room before it was even my room. But, yeah. I don't know what even drew my eye to that. Like, I was just looking out the window because I'm sitting in front of my window to captivate the best sunlight possible. And as I was looking, I saw the cobwebs and I was like, that needs to be cleaned. And then something just told me, read it. You know, maybe they want to know what it says because they can see that it has words. This will be probably the most interesting video that I edit because I never really film spur of the moment videos. Most of the time my videos are planned if I have to talk. So, yeah. It felt good to film this. I felt like I got a weight off my chest and I felt like I had an epiphany moment. I always believed in God's timing. Actually, let me not say I always believed in God's timing. That's a fucking lie. Because there was a point where I was atheist for 2 weeks. That's a whole nother story. But as I've gotten older, I'll say that. As I've gotten older, I've started to notice and appreciate God's timing. I've had a lot more epiphanies and realizations more than usual. I've been right a lot more than usual, which... fire sign energy. Yeah, but I did not even know my cousin was here. When my sister said she was talking to him, I thought she meant on the phone, but he showed up. And there's a reason why he and I had that conversation, because it was all in God's timing. So, yeah. As I've gotten older, I've grown to appreciate God's timing more. Whoever God is. Because God is a bunch of things. God's a burning bush. He's water. He is us. He's you. He's me. God is everybody. We won't know who or what God is until we get to heaven. So, yeah. I appreciate you guys. All 50 of you. Even if all 50 of you watch this. And I appreciate those of you who aren't subscribed for watching this, because there was a reason that you came across this video. Whether you know it, I know it, there's a reason why you came across this video. Part of it is the algorithm. Part of it is divine intervention, as I like to see it. But yeah, thank you. Thank you for letting me use my space to share how I feel. And hopefully we get more videos from your girl. I can be funny. I promise I can be funny. I'm not always depressed. I promise. Promise I'm not always depressed. I'm literally on antidepressants so that I'm not always depressed, okay? I don't know if is that a HIPAA violation? Ooh, did I just cause my own HIPAA violate? Thank you for the space, and I hope to see you around sometime. That was a disgusting. We're gonna do that again.